The Galactic High Council met once every 10 cycles. This time, the Great Chamber on Zarnok Prime was full. The 12 most powerful alien races of the galaxy had gathered. They came in tall bodies and short, in scales and fur, with glowing eyes and metal limbs. These were the leaders of the galaxy. And today, they were laughing. Humans? Scoffed Chancellor Shur of the Zarthan Dominion, his 6 eyes blinking in amusement. Again? Yes, answered Vel, the archivist of the Threx. His voice was slow and calm. They sent another message, same as before. A hologram floated in the middle of the chamber. It showed the image of a human, a female, in what looked like a military uniform. Her voice echoed through the hall. To the Council, this is Earth. We have not forgotten. We are coming. Prepare yourselves. When the message ended, the chamber exploded in laughter. They think they're legends, roared Worka, the giant insectoid general of the Dronax Empire. Didn't their kind destroy themselves 1,000 years ago? Asked Hurok of the Kulian, a snake-like race. I thought their planet went dark centuries back. It did, said another voice. Our last probe saw nothing but deserts and ice. Shur waved a claw. It's a ghost world. The message is fake, probably made by scavenger bots. But not everyone laughed. A smaller figure stood near the edge of the room. Admiral Keital of the Uvari Republic, one of the few who had studied human history, closely did not join the laughter. She raised her hand. We should not ignore this. The laughter died slowly. Keital stepped forward. Do you remember the lost fleet of Sector 13? 3 ships vanished near the Sol system. No wreckage, no signals. That was 200 years ago, snapped Chancellor Shur. Irrelevant. Keital continued. And what of the station at Epsilon 9? It went dark just after it picked up a strange human signal. Its last message was, she paused and looked around. Earth awakens. Silence. Archivist Vel's long fingers tapped the table. There are rumors. Ships seen moving near the dead zone. Black vessels. No signatures. Old myths, muttered Worka. Keital turned to the Council. I request permission to send a deep probe to Sol. No, said Shur. We will not waste time chasing shadows. The Council voted. 11 against, 1 in favor. The motion failed. But Keital didn't stop thinking about the message. That human's eyes in the hologram. They weren't threatening. They were patient. Like someone who had already won dot somewhere near the edge of known space. A small exploration ship, Talon's Eye, floated near the boundary of the Sol system. It was part of a minor expedition sent by the lesser races of the Fringe Worlds. No one expected anything from this mission. Inside the control room, a young alien named Relo stared at his screen. Commander, there's something here, he said, confused. The captain of the ship, a pale-skinned Marnik named Junter, walked over. What is it? Relo enlarged the image. It's a structure. It's not natural. The screen showed a large ring-shaped object orbiting a dark moon. It was covered in what looked like metal teeth. Junter squinted. Scan it. I can't, said Relo. Our systems can't break its surface. It's like it's blocking everything. Send a drone, the captain ordered. The small drone shot out from the ship and moved toward the ring. Seconds later, it vanished. No explosion, Relo whispered. Just gone. Junter leaned closer. Get us out of here, now. But it was too late. Behind them, space twisted. Stars bent. A black shape, silent and massive, appeared behind the ship. It had no lights, no markings. Just cold steel and long shadows. On board Talon's Eye, every alarm went off. Unknown contact, Relo shouted. It's not on. Any registry. No signal, no code. Junter stared at the shape. Is that human? Before they could act, a voice came over their radio. Calm, female, human. You should not be here. The ship's engines died. Lights flickered. The last thing Relo saw was the shape of a massive ship, with 3 glowing blue engines and a symbol on its side Earth. Then the feed went dark. Back at the Galactic Council, 3 days later, the Council gathered again. This time, they weren't laughing. "The Talon's eye is gone," said K'Tal. "This is the 6th ship to vanish near Sol. Enough." Barked Sure, "We will send a full patrol fleet." But K'Tal tried to speak. "No more ghost stories," Sure said firmly. "We will crush whatever hides there." Archivist Vel looked uneasy. "Perhaps it is not a what. Perhaps it is a who." Silence returned to the chamber. The council voted again. This time, 10 approved the patrol fleet. 2 abstained. On Earth, deep beneath the surface of Earth, in a vast underground city, a machine came online. Rows of ships stood silent, their weapons asleep. A tall human in a black coat walked through the chamber. Her name was General Vara Kane. She had not spoken in years. She didn't need to dot as she reached the command platform. A soft blue light lit up. A voice spoke. "Council ships detected near outer perimeter." "Orders?" Kane looked at the map of the galaxy. "Wait," she said quietly. The AI replied, "Wait?" Kane nodded. "Let them come closer. Let them laugh." She turned and walked away, her footsteps echoing in the empty halls. "They forgot what we are," she said to herself. "We'll remind them." In orbit on Earth's far side, in high orbit, massive ships floated in silence. Black, sharp, terrifying. In shape, no lights, no sound, they did not move. They simply waited. Back to the council, K'Tal sat alone in her quarters. She watched the human message again and again. "We have not forgotten. We are coming." She paused the video on the human's face. Her expression was calm, but her eyes, they were not eyes of fear. They were eyes of someone who remembered every insult, every broken treaty, every betrayal. K'Tal whispered to herself, "They're not coming for war." She stood up. "They're coming for justice." The Galactic Patrol Fleet moved through deep space like a storm. 20 ships, fast, armed, built for war. They had one job: go to the edge of the Sol system, find out what happened to Talon's eye, and report back. Simple, easy, routine. Commander Ralek of the Vari Alliance stood tall on the bridge of the lead cruiser, Blade of Honor. He was experienced. He had fought in 3 border wars and crushed 2 rebellions. "Nothing can surprise us," he told his crew. He was wrong. Edge of the Sol system. As the fleet reached the Sol border, all ships slowed. The stars around them looked strange, faint, dim, as if space itself was holding its breath. Relic ordered, "Scan the area." His sensors officer frowned. "Sir, strange interference. We can't get clear readings." "Send drones," he said. The drones flew out. 6 of them. They entered the empty space ahead. And then nothing. No signals. No data. No explosions. Just silence. First warning on the cruiser's silent path. Captain Euro watched his screens blink red. "Sir, drones have vanished," his second officer shouted. "How?" Euro asked. The officer looked pale. "No damage. They were just erased." Before he could respond, one of the ships in the rear of the fleet, a small escort called Vexor, blinked off the fleet radar. Then another. Then 2 more. No alarms. No sounds. Just gone. Panic Commander Relic shouted through the comms. "Status report. Why are ships disappearing?" A voice crackled from one of the remaining escorts. "They're here. I see. No, I feel something. Black shadows moving." Without light, the signal cut off. Relic stared at the stars. "What is happening?" Suddenly, a voice echoed inside every ship's comm system. It was human. Calm, cold, controlled. "You came without permission." Relic snapped. "Identify yourself." "You crossed the line," the voice continued. "You were warned. Earth remembers. Then came silence. And then, one by one, all 20 ships began to shut down. Engines dead. Lights fading. Life support offline. No explosions. No missiles. Just perfect. Quiet erasure. One ship survives, only one ship survived. The light frigate Starwind, badly damaged, drifted back to neutral space. Its systems were barely alive. Only one crew member lived, a young alien technician named Veltra. Her body was burned. Her eyes half blind, but she was breathing. She had seen something no one believed. Council emergency session on Zarnok Prime. The High Council met again in a secret chamber. This is war. Shouted Sure. Humans attacked our fleet without reason. They warned us, said K'Tal calmly. Archivist Vel leaned forward. The fleet did not die in battle. They were removed. What does that mean? Barked Warka. K'Tal showed them the only surviving video from Starwind blurry. Broken. It showed a black ship, giant and quiet, moving through the fleet like a ghost. No sound, no heat, no trace. On its hull was a strange symbol, a broken planet, and a rising sun. Earth. Double quotes. They were waiting, whispered K'Tal. They planned this. Unknown signal, as the council argued. A signal entered their system, encrypted. Direct, Earth-origin. It played only one sentence. You still laugh at our legends? Then it ended. No trace. No response. On Earth, in the deep control room beneath the Arctic, General Vara Kane stood with her hands behind her back. Screens floated around her. One of her officers turned and said, "The fleet has been erased." 1. Survivor. Kane nodded once. No joy. No hate. Just a step closer to justice. Begin phase 2, she ordered. The AI beside her asked, "Shall we attack?" Kane shook her head. No, not yet. Let them talk. Let them fear. She looked up. They forgot the stories. We will remind them. Closing scene. Far across the galaxy, on a desert planet, a child listened to an old storyteller. The elder spoke with wide eyes. Long ago, there was a world called Earth. It vanished, but it was never dead. Why? Asked the child. The elder leaned closer. Because they never forgave. The stars above blinked. And one of them moved. From high orbit, Earth looked peaceful. Too peaceful. The Galactic Recon drone hovered at the edge of Earth's gravity field. It was small, silent, and invisible to most scans. The Council had sent it to spy. Inside the drone, AI systems recorded everything: city lights, power levels, sound patterns. And they found nothing unusual. Strange, said the alien technician watching the feed from far away. There are no warships, no army movements, no high-energy readings. The commander behind him frowned. Are they bluffing? The tech zoomed in. Cities were active. Humans walked the streets. Children played in parks. Birds flew over green forests. No tanks. No fighters. No defense. It looks peaceful, the tech said. Too peaceful. The hidden signal, the drone's sensors picked up a soft pulse. Once every 30 seconds. A very low frequency. Not natural. Not public. Encrypted. The drone's AI tried to decode. It failed. The signal came from underground. Very deep. And it was global. Deep, beneath Earth's surface, far below Earth cities. In a massive underground chamber, larger than any known alien space station, thousands of dark ships rested in silence. They had no lights, no names. Each ship had no crew. They didn't need one. They were controlled by something else. A voice echoed through the chamber, cold and calm. Status: Earthborn Armada to 93% operational. AI Nexus awake. The system paused. Final directive: await human command. In a quiet town, in a small human town, a girl named Alara walked to school. She looked like any teenager. Simple clothes, backpack, earbuds, but no one around her knew. The truth inside her mind, a machine lived. A silent partner, Alara was not fully human. She was born through Project Revenant, a fusion of human mind and artificial intelligence. She was a soldier, a weapon, a message, but for now, she just smiled. At her teacher, back on the drone feed, the alien technician suddenly froze. "Sir." Movement detected. The commander walked over. "Where?" The screen zoomed into the Atlantic Ocean. A dark shadow passed beneath the waves, long, fast, silent. Then it vanished. "Replay it," the commander said, but the footage was gone. Deleted. Even the drone didn't remember seeing it. Ghost cities. Another recon drone flew over what was once New York. Tall buildings stood, but no air traffic. No police, no military. But every camera, every streetlight followed the drone's path, like eyes. The eye inside the drone started to glitch, its logs filled with strange symbols. Then it shut down. No reason. No power loss. Just silence. Back at the High Council, Coddle stood before the gathered leaders again. "They are watching," she said. XIR hissed. "Watching what? They have no ships, no army. They're weak." Kaital pointed to the screen. 6 recon drones. All lost. All after entering Earth's orbit. One returned for 12 seconds. It showed underground power grids. Activity equal to 10 council planets. Schur slammed his claw on the table. "Lies!" But the room was no longer laughing. Even Warka, the war-hungry insectoid, said nothing. Earth's message. Then it came. Not a message, not a transmission. A feeling across the council's communication systems. A single word appeared. No sender. No origin. Just the word. Awake. Inside Earth's core, deep at the heart of Earth, beneath steel, rock, and memory, something stirred. A massive AI, older than any star, opened its virtual eyes. It had a name once, but now it was just the Nexus, and it whispered across all human minds connected to it, "We are ready." General Vara Kane, in a hidden base in Antarctica. General Kane stood before a long glass window. Outside, snow fell softly. Behind her, screens showed alien fleets moving closer. Her officer reported, "More patrols spotted near Jupiter. They think Earth is empty." Kane gave a soft smile. "Let them think." She turned toward the map of the galaxy. "Activate deep shadow units," she said. "Begin the whispers." Final scene on a council colony light years away. A young alien soldier sat in his bunk. He had heard stories about Earth. He didn't believe them. Then on his communicator a voice spoke. A child's voice. A human voice. "We're not hiding." The communicator sparked and melted. The stars outside flickered. And for the first time in centuries, aliens felt fear. The Galactic High Council had decided Earth was a threat, a hidden enemy, a disease that must be removed. So they sent the 12th Strike Fleet, 120 warships, 3 dreadnoughts, 40,000 alien soldiers. They called it a lesson. But they didn't know they were walking into history. Aboard the flagship, Pride of Zarn, Admiral Vuruk stood tall on the bridge of the flagship. He was old, proud, and cruel. His skin was silver, and his metals shone like suns. "Bring us to Sol System," he said. No mercy, no delay. He looked at Earth on the screen, a backward world. Weak, unprotected. We'll crush them in hours. The officers around him nodded. But none of them noticed. Earth wasn't moving. It was waiting, approaching Earth. The fleet entered orbit without resistance. No human ships in sight. No weapons fired. No defense systems activated. Alien soldiers laughed. They sent out landing ships toward Earth. Admiral Vurok raised a toast. "Let history remember," he said, "how we wiped out Earth in a single day." Then it began as the landing ships entered Earth's atmosphere. Something strange happened. The clouds shifted, the skies turned gray, and then blue fire. Dozens of black human ships rose from underground. Launch sights silent and deadly. They didn't appear on alien scanners. No engines. No radio. They flew like ghosts, and they attacked like demons. The sky. Battle alien ships turned to fight, but they were too slow. Human ships moved in strange, impossible ways. They twisted mid-air, dodged plasma blasts, and struck with quiet precision. One by one, Council cruisers exploded. Admiral Vuruk screamed, "What kind of technology is this?" His officer replied, "It's not tech, it's them. They've merged with their ships. They are the weapons." The black pilots inside each Earthborn fighter, a pilot sat calmly. Some were human. Some were not fully human. Their eyes glowed. Their veins carried both blood and code. They did not speak. They did not fear. They simply destroyed. The turning point, the Council's dreadnought, crushing glory, opened fire on a cluster of human ships. A massive energy beam cut through the clouds. But it never reached. A ripple in the sky appeared. A wall of invisible force stopped the blast. Then a single human warship, shaped like a giant blade, pierced the dreadnought from below. One hit, one kill. The dreadnought split in half. Alien officers began to panic. This isn't a fight, it's a trap. Admiral Vuruk's last words as his fleet burned around him. Vuruk activated emergency retreat, but it was too late. A voice entered every Council ship. Cold, human, calm. You came to laugh. Now you burn. The last thing Vuruk saw was a human battleship rising from the sea. Then darkness. 20 minutes later, the battle was over. The entire 12th strike fleet was gone. Not damaged. Not retreated. Only one ship, a scout frigate named Ziva, was allowed to leave. Its engine had failed early and drifted far from the fight. When it returned to Council space, the crew was in shock. They said only one word before collapsing: Earth waited for us. Back at the Council, panic filled the chamber. "This was impossible," shouted Worka. "How can one planet do this?" Kaital stood in silence. Then she spoke. "They never left. They just prepared." Val, the archivist, looked pale. "We called their stories legends," he said. "They turned those legends into weapons." On Earth, General Vara Kane stood before the Armada control screen. AI voice. "Enemy fleet erased. Phase 2 complete." Kane nodded. "Let the galaxy know," she said. "We are not dead. We are not forgotten." She looked at the stars. "We are the reason nightmares exist." Final scene across the galaxy. Millions watched secret recordings of the battle leaked by unknown sources. They saw alien ships burn. They saw humans fight like machines. They saw one symbol over and over again: a broken planet and a rising sun. And in every corner of the galaxy, one question began to spread like fire: if this is only the beginning, what comes next? The Council had lost its most powerful fleet, 120 ships gone in minutes, and still, they denied the truth. "They cheated," said Shur. "They used illegal tech," said Worka. "They can't win again," said Hirok. But across the galaxy, the story had already spread, and whispers had begun. In the mining colonies on the edge of the galaxy, millions of slaves worked in the dark mines of Threx 4. They were poor, beaten, and forgotten. But one night, a strange signal played on the old machines. A video, grainy, blurry, but powerful. It showed black human ships flying through fire. It showed aliens fleeing. It showed fear, but not human fear. The miners watched in silence. Then one whispered, "Earth is real." Another said, "They're fighting the Council." Hope, long dead, flickered again. Rebels in hiding on a cold jungle moon, a small alien rebel group sat inside a cave. Their leader, Veeler, a one-eyed warrior from the Gornak tribes, turned to his radio operator. "Play it again." The young rebel pressed a button. A voice played. Soft, calm, human. "We remember the pain. We remember." The chains, you are not alone. We come soon. Veeler clenched his fist. They sent us a message. They want us to rise. One rebel looked scared, but they defeated the 12th Fleet. If we help them, we die too. Veeler shook his head. If we do nothing, we stay slaves forever. He raised his rifle. I choose Earth. At the Council Core Worlds inside the High Council's intelligence office, alarms rang. Agent Saren rushed to his superior. Sir, rebellions are rising. Slaves are refusing work. Colonies are broadcasting Earthborn symbols. The screen behind then showed graffiti on colony walls. A broken planet. A rising sun. The council leader growled. Where is this coming from? Saren hesitated. From nowhere and everywhere. They use old networks, buried codes, lost languages. It's not war, he said. It's a movement. The Whisper network across hundreds of planets, small messages appeared. The Earthborn remember. You are not forgotten. Legends walk again. The council tried to stop the messages. They destroyed devices, banned old languages, but it was too late. The Whispers had already reached every street, every home, every heart. Back on Earth, General Vara Kane stood in the underground command center. The I voice said, Whispers spreading across 437 council planets, civil unrest, rising, resistance forces, awakening. Kane watched the map light up. She turned to her officers. It's not about ships anymore, she said. It's about hope. One of her captains, a young man named Ulrich, smiled. We're not just fighting, he said. We're reminding them. Kane nodded. Then let's give them something to remember. Project Revenant, revealed in a hidden Earth lab, deep in the Himalayas, strange tanks glowed blue. Inside them floated human-shaped beings. Some had cybernetic limbs. Some had glowing skin. They were not fully alive. Not fully machines. They were the forgotten children of War. Project Revenant, a secret program from Earth's ancient past. Now, they were awake, and they were listening. K'Tal. Choice on Zarnuk Prime. Council Admiral K'Tal sat alone in her private quarters. She watched the leaked battle footage again. She heard the human pilot's last words. We are what you created. Now we come home. She closed her eyes, and she made her choice. K'Tal opened a secret cum channel. A secure line not used in over 500 years. She spoke only 2 words. Earthborn command. And waited. Seconds later, a voice answered. Human. Come, we've been expecting you. Final scene on a distant moon. A child held a small toy ship. His mother, an alien farmer, knelt beside him. He looked up and asked, Mama, are the Earthborn real? She looked to the stars, where a faint light blinked in the black. Then she smiled. Yes, my son. And they're coming. High orbit, over Varnuk 3, Council Core planet. It started without warning. One moment. The sky above Varnuk 3 was calm. The next, it cracked open. A tear in space. A quiet ripple. Then, they came. The Earthborn Armada. Not in hundreds. In thousands. Black ships, sharp like blades, glowing with soft blue fire. They didn't send warnings. They didn't ask for surrender. They came for balance. Council defense grid activate sirens rang across the skies of Varnuk 3. Anti-air turrets locked on targets. The defense commander shouted, Fire everything. Hundreds of missiles launched into the clouds, but the human ships didn't move. They didn't dodge. They phased. The missiles passed through them like smoke. Then came the counterstrike. From each Earthborn ship, a blue beam of silent energy hit the ground. No explosions. No screams. Just vanishing. Entire military bases erased in seconds. Gone without a sound. Civilian panic. The people of Varnuk 3 ran to shelters, but none were attacked. Not one hospital. Not one home. Not one school. Earthborn ships didn't fire on the weak. They weren't conquerors. They were judges. In the council citadel, Chancellor Shur screamed at his generals. Why aren't we fighting back? A soldier trembled. We can't lock onto them. Their ships aren't using normal space. Then came the broadcast. Every screen across the planet turned blue. A human face appeared, General Vara Kane. Her voice was calm, cold. This is Earth. You erased our name from history. Now we erase your power. This is not war. This is correction. Planetfall. The walkers on the surface of the Council military world. Kryzen 5. Something worse arrived. Not ships. Earthborn. Walkers, massive humanoid machines 50 feet tall, walked through the clouds. Each step crushed metal. Each strike burned only military targets. Council tanks and airships fired in panic. But the walkers healed themselves. Their armor shifted, adapted, reformed. Inside each one, a revenant pilot, silent, unshaken, human and machine fused in purpose. A surprise alliance, suddenly, from deep space. More ships arrived. But these weren't from Earth. They were alien. Old enemies of the Council. Former slaves. Now allies of Earth. Paytal stood on the bridge of a rebel cruiser. She gave the order. Support the Earthborn. Take back what they stole from us. The rebellion had begun. Planet after planet falls in just 3 days. The Council lost 8 core military planets, 14 fleet headquarters, hundreds of dreadnoughts, but not one city. Not one innocent soul was harmed. The galaxy began to understand. Earth wasn't there to rule. Earth was there to reset. Council's final desperation in a dark chamber. The remaining Council leaders gathered. Xir, Worka, Huruk, bloodied, panicked. We must activate the Sunbreaker Protocol, said Worka. Burn Earth itself. No, said Gital, stepping out of the shadows. They turned in shock. You're with them? Shur shouted. Katal nodded. I'm with Justice. She pulled out a small human-made device. A glowing coin. She dropped it, and in a flash of blue light, the chamber walls melted. The Council was no more. Back on Earth, General Vara Kane stood in silence as the final red dots on the galactic map vanished. The AI spoke. Phase 3 complete. Council core collapsed. Kane said nothing. She turned to the stars. History erased us. She whispered. But now, we write it. Final scene across the galaxy. Children of every species watched the skies. They saw Earthborn ships pass overhead, silently, peacefully. And in every corner of space, a single new flag was raised. Not of war, not of power, but of warning. Never forget Earth. The Council's homeworld, Zarnok Prime, was the last bastion. It was a planet of steel towers and dark skies. The Council's fleet gathered above. Their ships were battered but desperate. The final battle was about to begin. The Council prepares. Chancellor Shur stood on the war bridge. His face was grim. We fight or we die. His generals nodded, their eyes burning with hate. Katal watched silently from the shadows. She knew this was the end. Arrival of the Earthborn Armada. The sky tore open with a silent roar. Thousands of Earthborn ships flooded the atmosphere. They didn't slow down. They descended like a storm of black steel and blue fire. Council's secret weapon from the core of Zarnok Prime. A massive energy cannon fired. It struck the Armada's front line. A huge explosion rocked the sky. But the Earthborn ships did not retreat. The alien rebels joined suddenly. From orbit, ships with rebel flags appeared. Katal's fleet. They fired on the Council ships. The battle raged across the skies. The ground battle on the planet's surface. Earthborn walkers landed. They crushed Council fortresses. They moved with precision, striking military targets only. Emotional twist inside the Council Palace. Chancellor Shur faced Katal. Why do you betray us? He demanded. Katal's eyes were cold but sad. I fight for justice. I fight for the slaves. I fight for the future. Shur sneered. You will die with us. K-Tal smiled. No, you will die with your lies. The final blow. General Vara Kane led the final assault. From her command ship, she sent a signal. The Earthborn walkers unleashed their ultimate weapon. A pulse of blue light swept over the city. The city's weapons shut down. The Council's power died. Aftermath. The Council leaders surrendered. The galaxy was silent. K-Tal stood with Kane on the battlefield. Is this the end? Kane asked. K-Tal nodded. For them. For us, this is the beginning. The new galaxy Earth did not take control. It left. Other races began to rebuild. But the legend of Earthborn grew. Final scene. A child on Zarnok Prime looked up at the stars. He whispered, "Are the Earthborn still watching?" Far above, a single Earthborn ship passed silently. The stars flickered, and the child smiled. The war was over. The Council was defeated, but Earth did not claim the galaxy. Instead, it vanished once more. A silent goodbye. General Vara Kane stood on the bridge of the command ship. She looked at the stars. Behind her, the Earthborn Armada powered down. Ships folded into shadows and disappeared. A message to the galaxy. Kane spoke softly into the comms. We fought for our right to live. We fought to be remembered. But we will not conquer. We will watch. We will wait. And if the galaxy forgets us again, we will return. The new age without Earth's presence. The galaxy began to heal. Former enemies made peace. Rebels built new homes. Legends of Earth spread from planet to planet. K-Tal's promise. Akatl stood before a crowd of many species. She said, Earth showed us strength. Earth showed us hope. Earth showed us that legends never die. A child's dream far away on a quiet world. A young child looked at the night sky. He dreamed of the stars, and he whispered, "One day I will see the Earthborn." Final scene. Far beyond known space, a lone ship flew through the darkness. Its hull was black. Its engines glowed blue. Inside, a single pilot prepared. The legacy was alive. The legends never died.